Good afternoon. I'm Avraham Shira. Welcome to Eretz Israel. We're here in a forest in Gush Etzion, and there's some interesting ideas the Arizal talks about, the holy master of Kabbalah, that I think applies to every person, every couple especially, and everybody who's interested in how the energy of the universe flows through man. Now, of course, it's kind of clear that the energy begins in the head, flows into our heart, and then down through our body and our limbs and out through our hands and our feet. This energy pattern is repeated elsewhere throughout creation, and the flow of the energy is very standardized through a weekly cycle. That on the 6 days of week we work, on the Shabbat we rest, and on the Shabbat is the time of the union of the male and the female energies. It's the time that husbands and wives reunite. It's the time that the masculine gives its power to the feminine, and it's expressed in the world. Rosh Chodesh, which is today, the new month of Kislev, is a different paradigm. It's not a flow of energy directly from the masculine to the feminine, as we have seen depicted in many different ways on Shabbat. The flow of energy on a new month is directly from the left brain, Bina, the upper mother, if you will, the power of expression, the power of language, the power of counting, the power of organizing and delineating ideas. It flows directly into the Malchut, directly into the feminine aspect. So there is a feminine to feminine revival that takes place on Rosh Chodesh. Whereas on most Shabbat, of course, Shabbat is a masculine to feminine reunion, whereas on Rosh Chodesh, this day, there's this feminine power illuminating the lower feminine power, which we call the mother and the daughter, the queen and the princess. And this reunion, as Arizal says, is one aspect where Rosh Chodesh is actually a higher light or higher transfer of energy on Rosh Chodesh than on Shabbat. And we see this, of course, in Rosh Chodesh. It's a special day for women, for example, because the halacha says that women don't do laundry, and they're not required to do difficult labor that they often have to do during the week. Of course, this is according to our ancient paradigm. Nowadays, I don't know who's doing what laundry, but it seems to be a team effort. However, we have also the idea that on Rosh Chodesh, there are oftentimes, where I live, there are parties for women and gatherings where they learn and they talk and they sing and dance, etc. And so it's this celebration of the renewal of the feminine power, which we see, of course, in the moon itself. The moon is our monthly clock in the sky. And of course, every woman's body is also a monthly clock. And so that clock is like God's gift to us to keep track of the year and, of course, the festivals. The moon and the sun reflect God's perfect design that we would live according to the cycles of the universe. But the moon is interesting because it hides for half the month and then it appears. And then it grows until its full glory on a full moon. Then it starts to wax and wane and diminish until it's gone again. So this cycle of growing and expanding and then diminishing and detracting until it's gone again, this represents this feminine energy of birth, maturization, becoming mature, of course, and then what we say the final stage of the process is birth, and then afterwards the cycle begins again. So the parallel between Shabbat and Rosh Chodesh is very interesting, because you see that of course we associate the power of God as the masculine and the power of humanity as the feminine, because all of us receive from the creation and from the Creator the power that we need to conduct ourselves in this world. However, on Rosh Chodesh, we see that there is this feminine aspect of God shines brighter. And so there is a power that we don't often associate with this paradigm, because we think of God as a masculine thing, as a male power. But that's only in relationship according to a certain paradigm, but there is a feminine power of God. And, some people, they chafe at that. It's a little difficult for them to change the tools of their perception. But part of becoming a truly one being is unifying these elements in ourselves to be able to take our masculine side that wants to give and our feminine side that wants to receive and make them one. So really we need Shabbat to experience that with our wives, with our families. On Rosh Chodesh, we need to understand that it's kind of like the day given to women and their renewal and their power. And we also see that on Rosh Chodesh, there's often this, I want to say, when I was a kid growing up, people used to say, oh, it's a full moon. Oh, it's a full moon. It means something, right? It's a full moon because the moon is powerful. And things happen on full moons, like werewolves come out and kinds of strange creatures. But really, it's the shining of this feminine power that we're celebrating. And when we celebrate that power, we're not just celebrating women as a very important part of humanity, perhaps the most important part, but we're also celebrating that feminine part of ourselves that we're able to receive and we're able to give and we're able to reach peace between the two powers. And so I think Shabbat, of course, is the time of peace. We always say Shabbat Shalom, right? And Rosh Chodesh, we say Rosh Chodesh Tov. Now the interesting thing about Tov is Tov, according to the letters of Rabbi Akiva and according to the Zohar Kadosh, the idea of Rosh Chodesh Tov is this idea that Tov is actually not from this world. Tov comes from a higher realm, a non-physical plane, and then it comes into this world and it mixes with what we call lo tov, or evil or ra, however you want to name it. But so when we call upon Tov, we're calling upon something greater than ourselves, something higher, something bigger that we want to come down into this world. So Rosh Chodesh, we're bringing something down new into the world, and hopefully it's going to renew our minds and renew our hearts, and renew our service of the Creator, and renew our relationship to our divine self and to everyone else's divine self. And that's a very important thing that I'd like to end with, is that we have to believe in ourselves and believe in our own spark of God. We have to believe in the other guy's spark of God as well. And that includes all the billions of women on this planet. We have to understand that everyone is carrying that spark, and we have to learn to honor it. And it's a hard work because we grew up in a chauvinistic world, I'm afraid, and it's taken thousands of years to work that through. So, well, hopefully we're getting towards the end of that repair, of that restoration, because in the ultimate vision, Chava and Adam, when they fell, Chava fell lower because she was one who offered the fruit to Adam. This is all from the holy books of the Zohar. And at the end of days, in the reunion and the ultimate redemption, the feminine is lifted up so that male and female are face to face again as they were in the beginning, before there was any such thing as what we call this primordial fall. So we should all merit to that the union, the reunion, and the ultimate truth of our balance and perfect connection to each other, and that Rosh Chodesh and Shabbat together create a day of great joy and celebration. So we'll see you all again this week on all the platforms. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless you all.